This is a video of a sampler I've been working on. I'm not going to go through any of these designs, how to actually do them, but thought it would be good inspiration if anyone's stuck on background designs for the whole cloth quilts. This one is just, it's a couple tiny feathers. Let me get my dime here for scale. A couple of tiny feathers inside a little coin, layer of pebbles, and then outlined. Pretty easy to do. It was a little time consuming, but it looks really good. I'd do it on a quilt, definitely. This is just a plain old stipple. Nothing exciting about it at all. I steer clear of that. That's me, though. A lot of people like it. This is another variation of just a little feathered spiral, but in this one I drew the feathers out really far. You know, this way they come out probably about an inch. I like that. It went really fast and it looks good. I don't know if I'd use it on a competition quilt, but it's nice. The only reason I wouldn't use it on a competition quilt is because it, I don't know, it looks a little too overall for me, you know? It doesn't really look complicated, and that's just my personal preference there. This is something I just randomly off the top of my head did. It's just a bunch of tiny paisley shapes kind of nestled into each other. It gives the same kind of effect that Pebbles would, but they're different shapes. Kind of cool. These are feathered wreaths. I saw Sharon Chamber did something kind of similar to this. She had some different stuff going on in the background, though. I like this a lot. I'd probably try to aim a little smaller, but they're very, very cool. Let's see. This is on my frame, so I'm just going to kind of advance down to keep everything going. This is just echoed squares, random squares. It's really cool. I like it a lot. It's definitely really flat. There's not a lot of texture to it, but you do have this little bit of texture, you know, like right here, and you don't mind those tucks. Just the fabric was just laid on there. That's why there's little nips and tucks in between everything. I like this a lot. It's not really my style, but it's good at tamping down the background. This is kind of hard to see, apparently. Well, you can kind of see it. I got the idea for this. Someone on one of my friends posted pictures of an Easter basket that was shaped like not shaped like, it was round, and it was painted like a baseball. So you can see how, let me get my scissors again. It's a circle, and then it has like these intersections right here, little like half circles, and then just some lines for interest. So that's ideas come from everywhere. This is hearts with pebbles. I think I showed that in the background filler video. Not my thing, but whatever. This is just random feathers going different directions. If I were to do this, I'd probably mark it out somewhat just to get it kind of symmetrical on my quilt. They're very fast. They have great texture. But, I don't know. I don't know if I'd do it on a whole quilt. Maybe in little sections somewhere. These I do a lot, and there's a reason I do them a lot. Well, first of all, I like them. This is me moving my chair over. I like them, but, there's a lot of different variations you can do. Like this one just has, here, my dime back over again. This one just has the circles at the base that are echoed, and just a row of feathers, but then they're echoed 3 times. So you get this popped up, and then the feathers popped up, and then a real clear delineation between the next one because it's echoed so many times. I like that one a lot. Moving on down again. This is the teardrops that I did with the feathers on the inside and the outside. This is in my favorites fill video. Favorite fills. I like this one a lot too. I'm thinking that if I ever did do this on a competition quilt, I'd probably echo them more so we get more of the feeling of this down here. Echo them 2 or 3 times. Could be very interesting. This I love. You can see my inside. I just did this. Not really. If I was going to do this on a competition quilt, I would definitely mark before my fabric was on my frame. This I marked afterwards, and it was an arbitrary space. It wasn't sized correctly. This is a 1-inch grid on the diagonal. I did the orange peel. I came back inside the orange peel and filled in with these 3 pebbles, and then came back and echoed inside the little diamond shape. I love this. I really do. I am not confident enough to actually put it on a competition quilt, mostly because I'm not good with keeping everything nice and even. But maybe one day, I guess if I could find like a template that would help, like do ruler work with it, but I don't really want to get into all of that. This is sort of a variation of, let me get the pebble over. There you go. This is the same concept as the pebbles next to it, but camera's all crooked. It's squares, rounded squares, because you don't want to do squares, sharp cornered 90-degree angle squares. I like this. The only thing is that I don't know if it's just me, but I was getting into sections and I was like, how do I get back out of here? And I ended up with little bitty pieces like that, which that's fine. It's kind of cool. It's kind of like a cobblestone thing. And then of course pebbles. I have to do pebbles. The best thing about these is that once this is washed, the fabric, depending on whether it was pre-washed or how it was dried after it was washed, is going to draw up just a little bit, so these are going to have even more dimension because all this fabric's kind of trapped. Like if you have a design that's one of those like stippling where it has somewhere else to go, it stays flat, and this, because it's like this fabric is caught in between this pebble, it's not going to go anywhere. So when it draws up, the stitching is going to pull under just a little bit and it's going to pop that up. It's going to look really good. This is a design that I am back and forth on. This is one of the designs I want on my new quilt, but as you can see, it's got the pentagrams in the inside of it. And I asked my friend Michelle, I said, when I say pentagram, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? And of course she said devil worship, which is not true. The pentagram is a symbol of protection that was around long before devil worship came up. And that's it's something that I wanted to explore in my quilt, but I don't want to enter a show and then everybody be like, go look at that crazy pentagram quilt, So I don't know, but I do really like this. This is the same thing as the pebbled, as the feathered coins. It's a circle, got the star in the middle outlined, and then these feathers, they're like those molar feathers with the little dip in them. They're so small you can actually see it better over here. See the little dip? They're very interesting, but I don't know about the pentagrams. You could put spiral in the middle, fill them with pebbles, anything you want. I really like that though. If I wasn't so afraid of scaring people, I'd definitely put that in there. But protection symbol, if anybody asks, before Satanism. Okay, this is my all-time favorite background fill. I did this in the video. It's circle, echo, echo, pebbles, echo, and then 2 more echoes. It's beautiful. It really, really is. But very time-consuming and very difficult to keep even. I did a pretty good job with this one, I think. Better than I've done in the past. This is just random one-sided feathers. I like this a lot too, but I would have to echo it more, I think. See how they just kind of are soft as and it comes to a curl, and then we only do the feathers on that side and bring them down. Where you would normally have feathers coming up this way. These go all the way around. I like that a lot. This I like too. This is just, remember I was talking about the pentagrams down here, putting pebbles in the middle. This is a circle. Thread's in the way. This is a circle. This is a circle with the pebbles in the middle, and then they're outlined. and then a big outline that's filled up with just little half moon shapes, like back and forth like this. I think I did that in the video too, and then outlined again. It's good. It gives really good texture, and it's a lot more forgiving than this. This is just when my brain kind of went off for a minute. One of the things I did want to talk about is one of my biggest pet peeves when I see curved cross-hatching on a quilt is when it's not symmetrical, like it just comes out of nowhere, and then it comes the other way out of nowhere, and it has no cohesiveness to it. So if you're going to do curved cross-hatching, if you have like say this doesn't have to be a rectangle, say it's the inside of a feather, a shape inside of your feather motif. Come from one side, like this corner, see how it comes from this corner? And then come from the opposite corner. So you end up, I know this one isn't symmetrical, but, so you end up with these diamonds that come like this. Of course, if you like the unsymmetrical thing, that's fine. It just drives me crazy. I see so many quilts that have it just random cross-hatching on it that I don't understand. I like it symmetrical. It's prettier that way. But I'm all about symmetry. This I love too. I really, really do like this. This was clamshells done on a 1/2-inch scale. I stitched all the clamshells. I came back and outlined, echoed in the inside, and then filled in with pebbles. Very pretty, but very time consuming and hard to keep even. But again, if I had this wasn't marked the way it should have been marked. It should have been marked before I put it on the frame, is what I'm saying. So if it had been marked before it was on the frame, I would have been able to keep it more even. But I do really like this. This is driving me crazy. This little bit right here, it should have gone down like that. Every time I look at this, that's what pops out at me. But hopefully you're not as much of a perfectionist as I am. This is McTavishing the way I think it should be done. If anyone's seen the McTavishing video, Karen McTavish does it incredibly fast, which is why she recommends using a thin thread that matches your background, and that's because she's not really concerned about where she's going. When I'm doing this, I start here, go down, follow. I'm very conscious of where I'm going, so there's not a lot of thread buildup. You can see this is probably the most thread buildup right here, and it's 3 strands at the most. So if you do McTavishing, slow down. You're not going to get any more points if you finish quicker. And it's going to look better if you actually slow down and take your time. Alright, moving on. Love this one too. This is just clamshells again with a little detail in the middle of it. I like this a lot. I'd probably do it maybe a little smaller if it was going on a competition quilt, though this is a little big, and there's a little too much loft for it to be a tight background design. This is just triangles, pebbles, Sharon Chamber again. I like this. It's just not really my style, I guess. This is those same feathered swirls, but they're different. The other ones are rolled up now. I can't see them. They're a little bit different. The swirls are a little bigger. They're not echoed as much. This is the Little Baptist fans again. This one is great, but it's time consuming because it's so small. But it gives great texture. I like this a lot. I definitely use that on a quilt. This is another Sharon Chamber design she did. I like it a lot. I just still have not been able to figure out how to do it consistently. Because you see, like, this one's a kind of question mark shape, and then this one gets a little off, and this one is just a half, and then this one's not even, this one's like a comma. But still good texture. I dropped my scissors. This is just hearts. Not a big fan, but threw them in there for the heck of it. Here's the Pebbled Coins again, with feathers on the outside, and then just pebbles in the inside. I like this. Again, I'd probably echo it more. You know, now that I'm looking at it, I definitely want to echo it more. Just, especially if it was on a big, you know, not just a little 4x4 square, but if it was on a big quilt, I'd want it to be, you know, I'd want each design to stand out more than it does. Here's orange peel and variations thereof. This was marked with a 1-inch grid. I did the orange peel. Here it is with pebbles. Here it is echoed. This is tiny 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch cross hatching done not without without a ruler. I mean, it's such a short space, you can do that straight on. I like this a lot. And then this one, I was trying to feather, you know, like feather the insides, but it ends up looking like grains of rice, which that's kind of cool too. But I gotta say, I like the cross hatching and the echoing and the pebbles better. This takes so long. That's what I did on my blue whole cloth, which I'm trying to find so I can post some new pictures of. But since I moved, I don't know where it's at. This is just the same one we did down here that I said, you know, it's harder. These are bigger though. This is when I was first starting out, you know, getting the hang of quilting again because it had been so long. See, they're very uneven. Like these are small and then this one's really big. So before you commit to doing this in a background, you want to do a little bit of practice or a lot of practice. I still need practice doing it. Alright. This is a Pebble Paisley. This is on my my last competition quilt. I did this in the whole green border and it had great texture. Time consuming, thread consuming, but it looks cool. Alright. This is a beadboard variation where I stitched every 1/4 inch, then I came back and filled every other one in with pebbles, and then when I got to the end, I came back and stitched in between every other one that was left. So you have 1/8 inch, 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch pebbles, 1/8 inch. It's really cool, but I did this freehand, and if I was going to do this on a quilt, I would definitely use my ruler, because they're a little, not that they're not straight, they're just, they're not even, because I just had to eyeball it, because at that point I had taken off my ruler foot and put my new fancy foot on. This is the Tetris fill, of the circuit board, whatever you want to call it. It's just kind of random. You go down, over, up, over, down, over, like that, and just until it's dense enough. This is really loose. You could go a lot denser than that. But that's cool. I don't know if I'd use that on a quilt because it's too angular, but still cool. This is a design that I'm definitely putting on my next quilt. It's the same thing as the beadboard, except it's really close together. Can you even see that on there? It's close together, and the lines, they don't have to be straight. It's really, it looks, I'm trying to think of the word here. It's got this formal thing like the beadboard would be, but it's kind of funky because it's not straight, and the lines are straight, but the stitching, it wobbles just a little bit, not a lot. You know, you don't want you still want it to end up with 1/8 of an inch between each one, but it's just got just a little bit of wiggle to it. And then this is my first attempt at those feathers I showed you at the bottom. These were too big. But yeah, that is, I don't even know how many fills that is. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 25 maybe? I don't know, I'll have to go back and check and give you a accurate number. But try some of those if you like them. Come up with your own, definitely. Or look at others and come up with your own variations. And have fun.